this is really about work. And Pluto in Capricorn really is about work. It's about structures and organization and climbing that mountain and getting to the top, you know. And with the 6th house, it's about, the 6th house is what supports, in my opinion, the 10th house, because really you can't have that success in the 10th house if you're not doing the daily grind at the 6th house. And so the life's depths coming out means that we're feeling like maybe we're not liking this grind, you know. With Saturn in Pisces, with Neptune in Pisces, we don't really want to be facing the fact that we need to be in the grind. But the Sun being in Virgo and Mercury being in Virgo in opposition to this Saturn, we are needing to face the reality that the grind is a part of reality. Hello my loves, welcome to my channel. I'm Crystal, the Crystalline Priestess, intuitive evolutionary astrologer and psychic tarot reader. Now today we have Astro Tea weekly number 5, which is a general breakdown of what we have coming in for us over the next week. I do a daily horoscope every single day, so there's going to be an in-depth, detailed breakdown of every single day coming next week, but this is just a general overview to get us started on the weekend. So without further ado, let's get into it, because this is a massive week, actually one of the biggest weeks probably that we've had in the already crazy amount of big weeks that we've had over the past few months. This one's the biggest. And why is that? Because it's eclipse season again, my loves. We are starting off once again with the eclipse that is coming in on Wednesday for us Aussies. So it is happening, actually. I better check my notes here. I will actually be doing a very detailed eclipse reading that should be going up in the next few days. I haven't filmed it yet, but this morning I did like a huge deep dive into just gathering charts and all that sort of thing for delving into this video, because this is a really powerful eclipse in my opinion. It's the last sort of set of eclipses that we're going to be having this season with Pluto in Capricorn, which is a huge deal. So we have the Pisces partial lunar eclipse coming in on September 18, 2024. It will be at 12:34 p.m. Brisbane time. If you're an Aussie, obviously set that for wherever you are in the world, my love. We're not actually going to be able to see it in Australia, which is a bummer. But, you know, if you're over in the Americas and things like that, you should be able to see it, which is very exciting, but we'll get into that in the eclipse reading. So, basically, this is just a massive week of massive change. Now, when we have eclipses, I love the way my teacher described this, but he called it the changing of the slides. He referred to eclipses as being like a lens, and basically it's like shifting lenses. It's changing the way we are completely going about the view of life, if you know what I mean. So the fact that we have an eclipse this week, while we're starting off the week with a square between Mars and the nodes, and we talked about that last week, but this is preparing us for a really strong emotional release over this eclipse. Now, I wrote some notes, I channeled some notes to just sort of get some vibes for the week ahead, and I've got a bunch of cards out here, and I also pulled Astro Dice, and the Astro Dice came out with the Sun in Libra in the 6th house, which is very interesting because we do have the Sun getting to the end of Virgo. It's not going to move into Libra this week, but it is going to move into Virgo coming Monday, Tuesday next week. So this is us getting to the end of our Virgo transit and us really having now to learn the art of balance. With Pisces and Virgo being so highly activated, this is a major week to see where you have grown over the past 16 years. Really intense portal, I suppose this week is, for understanding how much you've actually leveled up physically, because it's Capricorn. We got a lot of earth energy coming through with Pluto being back in Capricorn. So the week starts off with a really strong you know, T-square between Mars and the nodes. And, you know, Mars is the dispositor of the North Node because the North Node is in Aries and Mars is actually in Cancer, where he hates to be in the most, and he's squaring, you know, the nodes who he's kind of dispositing at the moment, which means that we are feeling uncomfortable. We are feeling like we're out of our comfort zone. We are feeling like there is more to do than we physically can. It's feeling like there is this huge karmic evolutionary pull that is asking us to start dealing with our emotions in a more responsible way. That's why the moon that is coming in over this Wednesday, you know, it is, like I said, it's our first eclipse since last year where we're having Pluto back in Capricorn, because the eclipses that we had at the beginning of this year in, what were those eclipses? Let me check. I made these notes this morning, so. Okay, so the eclipses that we had in March, we had an eclipse on the 25th of March in Libra, and we had an eclipse on the 8th of April in Aries. So these are our first eclipses that we're going to be having at the moment, with Pluto being in Capricorn, because Pluto was in Aquarius for those eclipses. So massive, massive opportunity for insane levels of personal evolution and personal growth. This is a week where the sun is going to start moving into its opposition with Neptune. Look at me holding this, I haven't even read it yet. Moving into this opposition with Neptune that really has a need for as much honesty and integrity and spiritual honesty and integrity as is possible. This does feel like a week where I want to mention relationships in particular. There could be some really harsh realities coming through when it comes to our relationships, the partnerships and the connections that we've had around us. I don't love Venus being in an opposition with Chiron. Even though it feels like it's a healthy healing moment, it also feels like it might unlock a jar of worms that feels really uncomfortable, and that maybe even emotionally is very difficult to process with the Mars square nodes aspect that we have this week. So my notes that I wrote before we get any deeper, I said there will be shocks this week. The changing of the slides brings in a huge emotional release. So it feels as though that this eclipse, because the moon is going to be conjunct with Neptune, it's a couple of degrees off, but it's well and truly close enough, and it is sandwiched between Saturn and Neptune. Oh my god, guys. You know, and the moon is in that sandwiched opposition. I mean, the sun is in that sandwiched opposition. At the same time, we have Mercury, who is opposing Saturn, and we've just had Mercury come out of his retrograde. He's come out of shadow now, and so he's really trying to get the ball rolling. So this is a week about trying to get the ball rolling, but we can't get the ball rolling without dealing with the shit from the past. A lot of us have been trying to think our way into the new future without dealing with some of the things from the past that we have to let go of. We are all facing the toughness of some of the shadows that we've buried. Where have we betrayed our own identities? Where have we betrayed maybe another? I feel as though this is going to be a week where we find out about, I wanted to say like breakups and things like that, makeups, breakups, like unconventional things like that, but I feel like we're going to hear about infidelity. I don't know why that is coming out, but I was already getting it as I was getting into the reading, and the channel song that came out made me think that too. So it just feels as though, and I'm not saying that this is going to be for everyone, God no, but there are some people out there who are, over this eclipse, going to find out that maybe a partner has not been faithful, and that they have been trying to portray and live inside an image that wasn't an actual reality. And that is the difficulty of this Pisces Virgo axis, and just us basically having a major eclipse in Pisces. That is, you know, when Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2008, there was an eclipse in Pisces. And so this is the closing out of this whole transit, of this whole past 16 years. I would like you to think back to when you think back to 2008. Were you sinking? Were you swimming? How have things evolved over the past 15, 16 years? Because this is your opportunity to really see where you've grown and where maybe you made some mistakes. You know, Pluto and Capricorn is about learning to emotionally overcome what felt too difficult to achieve because we didn't believe. It's victimization. It's believing that we weren't good enough. With Mars being in Cancer this week, squaring the nodes, starting off as we move into this full moon eclipse, it's really, really important that we're honoring our, you know, we're our children, inner children, you know, and that's the thing with Cancer energy. It's the childhood, it's the home, it's the comfort zone, it's how you were raised, it's your emotional world, it's your personal life. So that little person inside of you, how are they being nurtured? How have they been nourished? How have you been taking care of them over the past 16 years? I feel as though for a lot of us, and especially the people that are tuning into my readings, if you're watching this, you know, you're realizing that you are at a point where, looking back from your whole entire evolution from 2008 till now, something significant came in over that Pisces eclipse back in 2008. It was like February 20. And so now here we are at September 18. Well, coming up into, I'm actually filming this on the 12th of September, but coming into September 18, and we are having the second last eclipse ever, with Pluto being back in Capricorn. And the next eclipse is actually going to be in Libra, I'm pretty certain. Yes, on October 3rd, 2024, we have an annual solar eclipse in Libra. So this is going to be the last Pisces eclipse with Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn. So that's a really, really important thing to remember over this eclipse, because it is, like I said, it's the big boom moment. This is the eclipse where you are going to see the physical changes in your reality. Mercury is opposing Saturn. We will be seeing it. So there's more to this week than just the eclipse, but the eclipse sort of trumps everything, because eclipses are the most important sort of events that we have in astrology to signify major change both in our personal lives and in the collective. So Venus is also opposing Chiron this week, like we already briefly spoke about, and I honestly think that that's actually going to be really emotionally exhausting. And I get the word exhausting because it's Aries, and it feels as though, you know, with the moon also that is going to hit Chiron whilst Venus is opposing Chiron, and that is all, you know, along the same lines. It's not the exact degree, but that is close to where we had that really strong eclipse back on April 8th. I think it was around 19 degrees of Aries where we had, I'm just checking, where we had that last eclipse. Yeah, okay, Sun, Moon, Chiron, all at 19 degrees, and Mercury was at 24 degrees. So we have Chiron now, who is kind of hanging out around that area. It's not exact, like I said. Oh my god, sorry guys, you guys aren't seeing my screen, but I've completely messed everything up. The reason why I'm not showing you a like screen recorded version of what I'm looking at as well is because honestly, like those videos, I don't have enough space on my laptop to do it. It is a lot of time and effort and energy, and so it's not that I don't want to do it, it's that at this point in my career, I can't physically do it without it being really, really difficult. So I do apologize that I'm not actually able to show you exactly what I'm looking at, but you guys are just gonna have to tune into the daily horoscopes if you want to see the motherfucking charts. So the next thing was facing our ugly and facing our light. So that's what I feel like this Venus opposition with Chiron is. It's facing our ugly and it's facing our light. It's seeing where, from the eclipse point back in April, where have you healed in your identity and where have you maybe gone backwards? It's not always about we've moved forward. Sometimes we need to look at where we've actually been fucking up. So I feel as though this week is really just this signification, and we have Justice as the tarot card that was just sitting here staring at me this whole time and I didn't even look at it. But this Justice energy of balancing the scales and seeing, like, dealing with these shadows in a way where they're actually embraced, and instead of running from them and hiding from them, it's using them as power and integrating them. And you know, that actually physically looks like emotional awareness. I feel like, in a way, I think the spiritual community might confuse people when it comes to shadow work, because it's like, how do you deal with the shadow part of you? Like, people don't really know what that even means, to integrate your shadow, you know? And in my perception, what integrating your shadow looks like is actually when you have the trigger moments. It's, you know, it's when you actually feel really triggered by something and you feel that shadow energy coming out, you feel that anger, you feel that upset, you feel that rage, whatever that feeling is, and you start to pay attention to it, and maybe you still react the same way that you do, but maybe you cognizantly start to focus on that and see what it is. It's a really subtle understanding. And with this, you know, Justice coming out, it's Libra energy, and Libra is intellectual. It's not so much being 100% physically in your emotions. It's, when I think with shadow work, is actually understanding, well, where are the emotions coming from? Yes, this is what I'm feeling, but it's about intellectually allowing yourself to comprehend where these emotions have physically come from. And that's what this Mercury is feeling like to me. And you know, Mercury was right near this Chiron degree back when we had that lunar eclipse. So it feels as though this week, when the moon comes and conjuncts Chiron while Venus is opposing it, it does feel as though it's this Justice moment, this holy shit moment where it's realizing where the balance has been really super duper off or it's been really super duper on. It's emotional. It's questioning ourselves. It's questioning our self-worth. It's questioning our identities. It's questioning whether we have done enough, you know? And I feel like for a lot of us, we have the Ace of Wands coming out. A lot of us have not been, and you know, that's the thing. I feel like with this Aries, it's like we haven't been feeling excited. We've been feeling more so overwhelmed, I think, by the changes that we need to make and the changes that are happening in our lives. And I feel as though this is a week where it's like, can we start to get excited? Can we start to manifest through physically, you know, putting into action the work that needs to be done on ourselves, on our shadows, on our physical, you know, bodies, in a sense that you can't keep pushing everything under the rug and expecting things to be okay. You can't keep, like, we've got lots of Libra energy that's coming out. You know, we have South Node this week with Lilith still. And so Venus was with Lilith and the South Node all last week, and it was horrible. And we were seeing where, and particularly in relationships and partnerships, maybe our partners were doing things that we weren't really fully enjoying. Maybe we weren't really liking. I'll give you an example just in my own life. Like last week, I was really sort of being brought to the attention that I'm a little bit, I'm actually quite a lot more disciplined than my partner. Like I'm a lot healthier type thing. My partner loves, if he's going to sit down and eat a pack, like chips, he's going to eat the whole packet of chips. Whereas I'm like, I'm going to pour myself a little bowl and I'm only going to eat this amount of chips because I don't want to overindulge in the chips. So it's kind of like been this lesson over the past week where we're seeing, oh man, oh shit, the people around me, we need to learn a compromise, we need to learn a balance, we need to learn how to communicate ourselves effectively and efficiently so that we're not getting lost in translation. And it's also not about like needing to physically change everyone around you at the same time as well. You know, maybe this is about changing yourself. This is about looking internally at the self. And that's the thing as well with Venus opposing Chiron. There is definitely a dichotomy this week where it feels like self relationship. I don't know if I feel like I need to get rid of this person so that I feel like I'm more myself, or do I need to have a relationship because I'm feeling like I've been spending too much time by myself. You know, there's a lot of us, I think, in the collective at the moment that are really grappling with this push and pull between being in a healthy relationship and maybe going in our own way. You know, Chiron is here with the North Node still, and this week is showing that we are coming to the end as well of the North Node being in Aries. We are getting close to a North Node back in a water sign, and so, you know, having Mars square the nodes at the beginning of this week, just before we move into that eclipse, feels as though it's getting us prepared and ready for the feeling of having the North Node shift into a water sign, shift into Pisces, and also connect with Neptune. We're going to have the North Node connect with Neptune very soon, and we're going to have the North Node connect with Saturn as well, all in Pisces. And so this is us really needing to face, we have 10th house in the world, and we have South Node with life's depths. We have this moment that's coming in for us this week where we're needing to face our debt, our karmic debt, and that's what Saturn is, and that's what having, you know, a full moon eclipse in the sign of Pisces with Neptune in and Saturn there, and Mercury in an opposition to Saturn. You know, that's really powerful stuff. And you know, if you think about the disposer of this moon, traditionally it's actually Jupiter. And, you know, modern-wise, it's Neptune. So basically, you know, Neptune's in Pisces, his home is very, very strong. And Jupiter is the issue. Jupiter is in Gemini, you know, and is starting to square. Actually, no, he's already had his square with the sun. Sorry, that was last week. So, you know, he's just moved off a square. Well, the sun's just moved off a square with him. And the sun is in Virgo, who doesn't like Jupiter. You know, Jupiter doesn't like Virgo. So there's this weird sort of energy that's coming in where we're feeling in one way really strong and powerful and really capable, and in another way we're feeling quite wounded. And I feel as though with that South Node coming out in the 6th house routine, we're needing to see where the past routines or the past things that we've done, the past way of moving in the world, our past lifestyle has led us to where we are now. And the 10th house coming out says that we want more. We're all looking for something higher. At this point with this week, you know, it feels as though with Pluto being back in Capricorn, we're now seeing where we wanted something bigger. We're seeing now what might be at the top of the mountain, and we don't need to have it all figured out. We don't need to have our entire dreams and goals for the next fucking 20 years figured out. But it's basically feeling like this is a week where we're really seeing the potential for the goals and seeing the potential for what we can create. And with this 6th house coming out, it's very much, you know, you know, actually with the 10th house as well, this is really about work. And Pluto in Capricorn really is about work. It's about, you know, structures and organization and climbing that mountain and getting to the top, you know. And with the 6th house, it's about, the 6th house is what supports, in my opinion, the 10th house, because really have that success in the 10th house if you're not doing the daily grind of the 6th house. And so the life's depths coming out means that we're feeling like we hate when maybe we're not liking this grind, you know, with Saturn in Pisces, with Neptune in Pisces, we don't really want to be facing the fact that we need to be in the grind. But the Sun being in Virgo and Mercury being in Virgo in opposition to this Saturn, we are needing to face the reality that the grind is a part of reality. We're needing to face that we need to physically work in order to, you know, reach whatever it is that we're doing. Work is a part of life. Work is a part of reality. Virgo literally is the sign of the things that we have no choice but to do. Like, that's why Virgo rules the digestive system, because you don't have control over that shit. You just digest. And if you don't, you die. So it's important, you know? We have the God archetype coming out, the Messiah archetype coming out, the Exorcist archetype coming out, and the King, which is... Oh, and that's weird. I didn't want to show you any of them until I'd showed you the King. So that's interesting. The King archetype says enlightened, benevolent leadership in benefiting those in your charge. So everything at the end of the day has to come down to benevolence. Everything at the end of the day over this transit has to come down to how are you wanting to be a leader of your own life, of your own reality, but, you know, in your career as well, and in the life and in the work that you do in this world. It's really important that you're being the bravest, strongest, and most healthy leader that you can be in the field that you are in. I feel as though a lot of us are stepping into stronger versions of ourselves, and that's what this Mars in Cancer feels like it's really trying to push us towards, because it's going to be in an opposition with Pluto for a long ass motherfucking time. It's going to hit 3 exact points in that retrograde period where he has an opposition with Pluto. So we're going to be feeling really, really intense push and pull feelings between our personal lives and what it is that we're trying to achieve over the next 6 months, over the next year, whatever. It's not going to be the next year, but it's really going to be amplified as this Mars moves towards Leo, and then goes retrograde in Leo in December, and then moves back. So it's going to be moving into the next year, at least the next 6 months. So it's really, really strong. The shadow attributes of the King is excessive feelings of entitlement and rulership without restraint. So that's the thing. I feel as though with this moon being in so close to Neptune, I feel as though like Neptune doesn't have restraint. It doesn't have boundaries. It's literally limitless. It's open. It's free. And that's why it can feel so horrible when we have Neptune aspects or transits to us natally, because it feels like a fog. It feels like a hopelessness and uncertainty. You can't grasp it. It's literally like gas, in my opinion. Like, it's like trying to hold water in the palm of your hand. You can't. It literally slips out. So then we have the God, Messiah, and the Exorcist archetypes, which really feel potent, because this feels like a crazy spiritual week. And if I was that's probably what I'm going to title this, is something to do with it being a very potent spiritual week for really strong and a strong opportunity to stand in a spiritual integrity that you haven't been able to embody before, because you know you were waiting for these transits are here to say, let's do it. The time is now. We've paid the debt. It's time to now end that chapter, end that cycle, move into the next. And the next is calling for you to be, you know, it's calling for this 10th house, this 6th house. It's calling for you to be in a routine and a structure and in a lifestyle that is built on graciousness and, you know, justice. It's built on knowing balance and knowing when enough is enough and when to stop and when to go. 3 of Wands. It's about, you know, knowing when to go for something and knowing when to know when it's time to wait. It's about being honest with yourself. And the King of Swords is actually underneath that in reverse as well. So it's about listening to our own intuitions, but in the sense that it's also about using our intuition to discern who are the right people to be allowing into our spheres when it comes to information. Who or what sources are the right things that we should be allowing into our lives at the moment, because we have to be discerning. That's what this King of Swords in reverse is. It's about discernment. So him being in reverse is saying that we haven't been as discerning as we needed to be over this past 16-year period. And so now we're moving into this stronger discernment, and especially when it comes to God and like with spirituality and all these things, because this is the eclipse. It's Pisces. So it's about, some people are probably going to have major spiritual breakthroughs or breakdowns over this eclipse. And so it's about, you know, exercising these demons, exercising the feelings that had you feeling like you weren't spiritual, or that you weren't connected with God, or that you weren't, you know, valuable and worthy to actually live the life of your dreams. It's really about you realizing how to actually start physically going towards things. Nothing is in your way, and that's Mars in Cancer. Nothing is in your way. Nothing is stopping you besides yourself at this point. And that's why the Exorcist is out here, because it says freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. So this is about freeing yourself and the people around you from doing the same old shit and the same old destructive triggers and habits getting the better of you like they always did. The shadow attribute is a fear of facing your own demons. So this, like I said, this is going to be the week where we face our shadow. And I've been talking about this for a long time. The shadows have been coming up, and I've made the Eminem references. I've said cleaning out the closet. That is here. That is like this full moon is here. If you haven't been dealing with the shadows, they will come up for you and you're going to really feel them. Then we have the God attribute. The God archetype that says light attributes is benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. The shadow attributes is despotism and cruelty and using power to control people. So very much it's about power control, and that's very much this Pluto and Capricorn sort of shit. It's about control and power and having healthy power. That's why that kin came out, because it's about being in a healthy authority and being in charge in a way that is beneficial to yourself and the people around you and isn't stomping on other people, you know? The shadow attributes of God is despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. We just said that and I forgot I'd read it because I needed to read it again. Okay, so it's like, let's not feel like we need to control people. We can't control people's actions, and that's the thing as well. This week is going to be a week where we realize, holy fuck, I'm not in control of my partner. I'm not in control of the people closest to me. I'm not in control of my kids, my family, my friends. The only thing I'm actually in control of with Mars is my own personal emotions. And so I need to be as strong in that integrity and as strong in that personal responsibility as I can be, because I can't control the external circumstances. All I can control is myself. So then we have the Messiah, which is light attribute, serving humanity with humility, and the shadow attribute is an exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. So it's just knowing that you're not the be all and end all of everything. You know, ego stuff. The sun is pretty much in an opposition with Saturn and Neptune over this eclipse. Ego stuff is not going to get you anywhere, you know? It's about dissolving the ego, and it's about letting that ego go and not being illusioned into thinking that your ego is bigger than everybody else's. Or not even bigger than everybody else's, but that your powers, that what you have to give, that you have something that is more valuable than the people around you, you know? It's about understanding that everybody has their own value and everybody has something that is worthwhile. It just looks different for absolutely everybody, so you can't really make a judgment. Now, I didn't forget to mention the moon moves from Aquarius into Pisces, where we have the eclipse this week, and then it moves into Aries, and then by the end of the week we have Taurus. So we do have a lot of shifts when it comes to the energies surrounding our emotions this week. Moon in Pisces is going to be really, really strong. Moon in Aries is going to also bring up a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings, and maybe a lot of, there could be anger, but there could be just this raw. And then when the moon moves into Taurus, things start to sort of settle down. We're able to ground some of these emotions, some of these feelings in. So, my loves, I'm actually going to leave this. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to pull one last card. I got the the unicorn deck out today, but Pegasus, I don't know when that stopped filming, but it did. So I'm going to take that as a sign that we're at the end. Flow, find an easier path forward, surrender the outcome, and release your expectations. And that's very much Pisces energy, is release your expectations. Virgo is about doing what you physically can do, and that's it. You know, you can't, all you can do, it's even like me in these YouTube videos, like all I can do is film these videos and put them out there. I can't control who fucking watches them. I can't control if no one watches them. I can't control if heaps of people watch them. I can't control that. So all I'm going to do at the moment is focus on what I actually can physically control, and to flow and to work with that. We also have the healer archetype. You have powerful healing gifts, have faith in your abilities, and stay true to your path as a healer. So stay true to this path of healing. Stay true to the fact that you have become a much more healed version of yourself. Look back to yourself in 2008 compared to 2009 now, as well as 2015 was a major eclipse point in this eclipse as well. So pay attention. How are you showing up in 2008? How are you showing up in 2015? How are you showing up now? You have more confidence now than you've ever had, so start using it. And the last card that we have out here is Friendship. That just stopped again, which is really strange. So I don't know, I really need to shut up or something. Friendship. Seek out your soul family, surround yourself with positive people, and spend more time socializing. So that's the thing too. Virgo energy can be very hermit, and so can Pisces. So it's about being around the right people and connecting with the right people, and that's what this week's going to be with this Libra opposition with Chiron. It's about being around genuine people who love and care for you, not about an image. It's not about looking a certain way. It's not about looking cool, all that sort of stuff. It's about truly feeling connected with the people that are actually genuinely there for you and that are around you. So my loves, I'm going to finally leave this reading there. I do apologize, this was longer again than usual, but it's a massive week with a massive eclipse. So do make sure you check out the eclipse reading when it is up. Hopefully it's going to be up either around the same time as this reading or just after it. Also make sure you check out the daily horoscopes every day next week. They will be up and running the day before, so you can check them out the night before or in the morning when you're having your cup of tea, whatever makes you happy, dolls. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, because it really helps to spread these videos to more astro nerds like me and yourself. I'd like to thank your angels, your ancestors, your higher self, your spirit guides, all the beautiful benevolent beings that are surrounding you and I in all moments, for allowing me to receive and to deliver this fabulous message for you guys. If you would like to book a tarot or an astrology reading with me, you can do that down below through my link tree. I would love to connect with you, and also let me know in the comments if there's anything going on with you. Let me know how this trans has been affecting you, what was going on for you in 2008, what was going on for you in 2015, and what is going on for you now. What are the similarities? What are the cyclic patterns, my love, because we all are having them. So I love you, and oh yeah, check out your channel songs too. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.